I don't know. I think I've done it once.
I've done it a couple times. The one time I did do it, I did it really softly because it was really funny. And it pulled the complete opposite.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Common Ground MTG podcast.
Welcome back to Common Ground on National Public Radio.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Common Ground Podcast, your favorite podcast where we talk about your favorite format, Pauper. I am your co-host, James Hippo Hieronymus, joined as always by my lovely long-haired friend, Mr. Thomas Hammergun.
Hello. And
Cameron is not joining in this week. However, in his absence, we have brought in a friend of ours.
A dear friend.
We've
mentioned on the pod many times.
And it is finally his time to be an alum of the pod.
I think I might be the most referenced person on this podcast besides Matthew Centillis.
We were talking about this.
Pretty close, yes. This is Carson Bispels.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. I'm glad to be here.
Our legacy pilled friend.
Legacy pilled gamer, indeed. And
right.
Pauper pilled.
You're Pauper pilled too.
Indeed.
All right.
Yeah, we want to have Carson on the show for a long time, honestly. But specifically, we wanted to chat about where the Pauper format gets called Legacy Light a lot. And so we thought both you, James, and Carson are very invested at various times, or have been, or currently are, invested in the Legacy format, as well as Pauper. And I think it'd be a cool discussion, and we'll see where that takes us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool.
Do we have any housekeeping things to get around?
I don't believe so. I do want to apologize for anyone who maybe has sent in a couple of events via the events channel in Discord. So I will just say for anyone who's sent in stuff, you can check out our events section in our Discord. The link is in the description. I've had a work is finally slowing down a little bit after busy season, but I'm still catching up with a bunch of life stuff, and so thank you all for your patience. But other than that, the next Common Ground Cup is January 31st at Game Night in Columbia, Tennessee, and it will be live streamed on Twitch and YouTube, and we're hoping to cap the store, hit that 80-player cap. It'll be a great time.
It's going to be a great time.
You played the first one.
I played the first one, couldn't make the second one, but the third one for sure. I'm taking that trophy. That's mine.
All right.
Love it.
Are you gonna? So you have to play a black-green deck then.
Correct. Just play Gardens. It's fine.
I won't play Delver of Secrets.
You can do what you want.
Delver in Gardens. Delver in Gardens.
Speaking of Delver, I think it's a great place to start actually with this.
Oh, the challenge list.
No,
Legacy
Light.
Legacy Light.
So
dive in.
First and foremost, if anyone is wondering my credentials on the Pauper format, I just want to say I found my first ever Pauper deck list today.
Oh, yeah.
And let me open it up. It was Mono Red Burn. It was a league list from March 20th, 2019 with bangers, 4 Gitu Lava Runner, 4 Thermo Alchemist, all the normal stuff, and 4 Gitaxian Probe.
Oh, yeah.
What a time.
Oh, yeah.
What a time to be alive.
I also played Blue-Black Control with 4 Days.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
I've been in this.
I've also gotten to cast Days in Legacy, and it is not okay.
It's fantastic. It's awesome.
What about in Pauper?
I meant Pauper.
Yes.
I've also done that, too.
Yes.
I've cast Legacy.
I've
cast Days in lots of formats that it is legal in or has been legal in.
Free my boy. Don't actually.
No. I don't.
Maybe don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But yeah, so we start with Delver. It's like, that's kind of, so I don't know about you, but I tend to look at Legacy as going, if, quote, Delver is the best deck, and by Delver we do mean just like usually the red blue tempo deck of the format. Usually is when I view Legacy as like very healthy, I view that as the best deck. Like when that is the best deck to be playing, I think the format is in a good place.
100%. And I feel like over the course of both formats' histories, less so now because I feel like Pauper has kind of developed its own unique identity aside from like most other formats. Or aside from Legacy.
I think from other formats, too.
Yeah, other formats, absolutely. But we have consistently seen the format being the healthiest when the Delver deck is the best deck in the format, in each format.
I think that is true here too. I think when Delver is a good card in Pauper, just the same as it is in would be in Legacy in theory, that things are in a good place. Things are very healthy. There's lots of places for different archetypes to thrive.
Absolutely. And when I say Delver, I mean that goes beyond the card Delver of Secrets, because now we have Dragon's Rage Channeler, Corey Steelcutter as the Delver deck, but that is still a Delver deck,
Yeah, we just colloquially refer to any blue red tempo deck
the
as
blue X tempo deck.
It generally is just the Delver deck.
And it has a fair amount of the same supporting cast around it.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Brainstorm, I think, is being another huge example that folks compare between Legacy and Pauper, especially. And Brainstorm has been a huge part of these Delver Secrets-based tempo decks. It literally sets up the Delver of Secrets.
The level of card selection we have in the format is so high and comparable to the Legacy format, because we have Brainstorm, we have Ponder, we have Preordain, if you want to go down that route. It sees less play in Legacy though, but still Preordain is a phenomenal Magic card. We have access to these card selection engines that other formats do not have besides the two.
Yeah, I mean in Modern you have
one of those cards.
You have one of those
three now. He finally got the unbanned in the last year and a half or whatever.
Oh yeah, it did.
But yeah, no. So we have the equally similar card selection engines, on the blue side. Brainstorm is a powerful card no matter what the format is. It doesn't matter. It's restricted in Vintage for a reason. Card is busted. Card does busted things. I think you've said it before. I'm sure you agree with this. Anytime that you're brainstorming, it's a good place to be in a format.
Absolutely. And the only thing holding Brainstorm back from being as powerful as it is in Legacy is fetch lands and the cards you're drawing.
Yes, you're definitely not drawing into Force of Will or even tucking cards to hide from a Thoughtseize, though that does come up against Duress sometimes.
Absolutely,
that's a fifth levels removed level up thinking about Brainstorm and its applications. But yeah, absolutely, not having fetch lands or reliable fetch lands in these decks, because you could play some landscapes.
Yeah,
in
a blue red reveal.
Lorien reveals and stuff. So you have ways to set up and remove stuff like that. Also, we have Squadron Hawk as well as another really good way to get rid of cards you do or don't want, which would be the other two Squadron Hawks that you just put on top of your deck. So yeah, that's the probably biggest pillar that both of them share. I imagine you agree.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. I think the prevalence of Brainstorm.
Yeah, Brainstorm deck, whatever may that entail, is going to be prevalent in both of the formats.
Mm-hmm. Being defining cards for both of the formats.
Correct. Being defining cards.
Mm-hmm. Another big part, I feel another big overlap between the two formats, I feel as well, is the enablers that the unfair decks have. Because we have access to Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, the Spirit Guides, all these crazy enablers, except we don't really see them get played because the payoffs often are way too powerful for the format to really handle with the lack of free interaction, like Force of Will or Daze. Mm-hmm. What were the busted combo initiative decks playing playsets of? What was the busted Chatterstorm deck playing playsets of?
Yeah,
all of those enablers.
We've actually covered this before. Is Dark Ritual is always on the table as being one of the most powerful cards in the format, without it ever actually being one of the most powerful cards in the format, because things are just kept in check enough. You can't we understand, and they've taken action appropriately in the past, where if Dark Ritual is too good, whatever it is too good with, they will remove it.
Yeah, because Dark Ritual is such a sick card.
It is a very sick
card. It is.
I agree.
I'm brewing around it as we speak.
I want to see
currently. Right now, I'm monitoring our podcast audio, but
No, you're just brewing while recording.
I'm trying to make a deck that can play multiple refurbished familiars on turn one.
And even inside the combo space, we also have like some very similar archetypes. Even in that, like we have actually like 1-to-1 like deck between Legacy and Pauper in the Spy deck, like.
Yeah,
1-to-1.
Very,
it is
very similar.
Straight up the same deck.
I mean, we're lacking like Pact of Negation and Force of Will. But
yeah, we don't have those. But we do have a lot of graveyard hate in lieu thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have Jack-O-Lantern?
We do have Jack-O-Lantern.
Yeah, we have Jack-O-Lantern.
Yeah.
I haven't played the Spy deck in Pauper yet, but that's just because I hate that archetype for existing, for removing any sense of agency from the other player. But
I don't know about that.
I think the current spy decks are way
yeah,
more fair.
you have a lot more agency.
Yeah, I think
in
they're
these current,
way
like,
more
wall
fair.
space ones.
They just have they fill the Splinter Twin void of, oops, here it is.
Yeah, playing in Scintillas was so frustrating the other a few weeks ago. Not because I love Matthew Scintillas. He's one of my favorite human beings on the planet. We always have a great time when we play. But just like playing against it in the new axis that I can fight on now, with being able to play this sort of just like
Mid-range
big beats, like mid-range, like
ramp into
gameplay.
Avenging Hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that is so, because
Merciless or
I like playing like quote unquote one of the best decks in the format, like playing Fae, you know, like I knew from turn one, like he land grants and he shows me the spy. So I know that I can't ever tap with my counter spell, or else he just kills me with the spy and he combos off. And so the whole game I can't use my interaction on like freaking generous end and stuff, and I just end up dying to it. Like it's so
That's the idea.
yeah, it's crazy. And I think that's awesome.
I think again, I like that it
And that's
exists.
like, it's a thing that differentiates it from its legacy counterpart. The legacy counterpart just kills you
yes, with Force of Will backup.
with Force of Will, Pact of
Yes.
Negation backup,
So,
and Jack o'
and-
Lantern, and
and
Memory's Journey, and
Pact of Negation as well.
Yeah.
Yes, all the free counter magic that could possibly be, it is in there. But yeah, no, we don't have that here. Again, most of our hate towards the spy deck is just, we have a bunch of graveyard hate. Lots of people play Bajuka Bog. Lots of people play Spell Bombs.
loving the Fairy Macabres.
Yeah,
Macabre
Fairy
is
Very
Macabre's
high on
sick.
that card in Paupers.
I would agree with you. The card is very sweet in Pauper.
Yeah. It's 0 mana.
It is your
Yeah. And you can't, I mean, you can interact with it on the stack, but you can't counter it.
Another thing I think that you'll find that is pretty close to being a similar stance in Legacy to Pauper is that control decks are not usually the best thing to be doing.
100%. And that irks me and makes me sad as an avid
As a
up
Legacy
the
player.
beanstalk enjoyer.
Yes.
Quantum Riddler.
I do. Oh, it triggers up the beanstalk.
It does.
Oh,
trigger
it's
up
so
the
good.
Beanstalk.
Oh my god.
The Rizzler.
You ever
Wow.
Felia Rizzler with an up the beanstalk?
Oh, you just had me at failure, but that's fine. That card.
Although with the-
card was slept on. I'm so sorry. That card was slept on for far, far too long.
Well, because we didn't
Riddler?
have the Rizzler.
No.
Failure.
That card was slept on for way too long.
Yeah, that card's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
She's good. She's a good dog.
It's a very good
Very
dog.
good dog. Very good dog.
Also, you can protect that bad boy with Caracas in Legacy.
It is very sick.
But yeah, like the control decks like Jeskai Ephemerate, even like blue-black control, if it...
Like, they exist, and
Yeah.
they have their times to shine. Like, absolutely. When the more, like, unfair decks are kind of taking over either respective format, except for when they kind of become, like, a turn or two removed from being, like, a reasonable... like, or having a reasonable way to interact with them. Like, I feel like
Sure.
the spy deck needing, like, 3 pieces of hate to, like, ever beat it is, like, tough. But, like, we see those decks rise up when these unfair archetypes kind of take over a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like the blue-black control deck needs to... I think the versions that have seen more success recently, like Barf's like blue-black Fey list, it is... mostly, I think you're playing it as a control deck, but it has a lot of these tempo elements with the sneaky snackers, the spell stutter sprites potentially, modern age, like things like that, where you're still committing to some stuff early to try and put your foot in the door, but ultimately you can play that control game. And I think that the control decks, both in Pauper and in Legacy to an extent, when they are very popular, like the Grixis Delver decks in like the SCG Tour days in like 2018,
Bangers.
like those
Banger.
like speak, and also actually before I have a thought with that, but like they're kind of tempo control. They can play either
they can
side,
play either axis.
Yeah, and so that you can react to the wide range of stuff that people are just going to throw at you, because that happens in paper in both formats too, where somewhat Legacy and Pauper are both formats where people will show up with some off the wall deck that they just love.
Speaking of,
You know,
last week at Locals, I played against Zubera Storm.
let's go.
Did I lose? No.
No. but you did play.
But I did
against it.
appreciate what my opponent was
Yeah.
doing. They like
That's
buy you
cool.
graft a Zubair to their graveyard, and I'm like, this is sick.
Okay, that's really
I was like,
that's really
really
cool.
cool.
That's
That's
really
sick.
cool.
I was like, this is sick.
The thing that I thought of, when I mentioned Grixis Delver, was Gurmag Angler. Gurmag Angler is a card like these big cheap threats that are, it triggers up the beanstalk.
It does trigger up the beanstalk.
But it's single mana delve 6. It's a 5/5. Like that's been good in both formats at various points.
Correct. So on that, this is becoming more and more true for Magic just in general. It doesn't even matter what format period you are playing. It could be Commander, it could be Limited, it could be Vintage, or whatever. The cheaper that your cards are, and the cheaper they will get cheaper as time goes on. Like mana efficiency is the name of the game. Still has not changed anything. Why do you think like we're playing 14 elves in our like elves decks to ramp out like a turn 3, 5-drop or whatever.
Right.
Same thing applies in Legacy. It's like the more efficient that your spells are, the more you're able to do inside of a turn, and that's really what's important. But the one big difference that we don't have between the two formats that really, really, really does shine, I think,
Plowshares.
is not Source of Plowshares. As much as I would love to exist,
That's a piece of it. That's a piece of
we
it.
have Swords of Plowshares equivalents.
Ish. we were talking about this on the ride over.
Ish. I think the one big thing is that you do not get punished, sort of, for your mana bases like you do in Legacy.
Because of
Wasteland.
Because of Wasteland. And
like
yeah,
you constantly as a Legacy player have to think, what happens if I get Wastelanded here? Like even as the person who used to previously enjoy Wastelanding people, you should always be thinking about what would happen if I got Wastelanded, or in my particular case, what would happen if I got Wastelanded and ported,
right?
like Rashad and Port. So yeah, we don't have nearly the attack of mana that we do. We have some variations of it, like things like for a specific
Gruul
interaction,
deck.
like steel sabotaging on a tapped bridge.
Sure.
Like that's
Cast into Fire Bridge.
yeah, that's sort of our mana denial, but it's not
But those
nearly as
are-
widespread.
It's
And
investing
that's
a whole
also
spell.
interactable with,
Correct.
on like a much easier axis than like Wasteland is. You can't interact with like, a game action from a land activation.
Oh, I agree. And there's no stifles in the format. Well, there's like one. And it's in
wish,
green,
that'd be
and
sick.
it's the rust
Oh,
card.
Rust.
It's like
Right.
the
But it still
stifle.
wouldn't stop a land.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying there's like no
Yeah, yeah,
stifle
yeah,
effects
yeah.
for this kind of thing.
I did do a Scryfall search for like can it like counter triggered or activated, and nothing came up. So yeah, we don't have a stifle.
Yeah, as the
Breaking news.
dirtily controlled slop 4-color gamer, I am glad that playing around Wasteland is not a thought process that I have to have when I play the Pauper format. Because you can't play those 4-color piles because they're awful because your mana is terrible in Pauper. But
Closest you can get is like the Wildfires decks. That's like their equivalent of Beanstalk decks is the Wildfire decks.
actually, that was one other thing that I wanted to briefly bring up. I feel like I was thinking about like the amount of game actions that take place in a game of Legacy versus a game of Pauper.
Yeah.
And I feel like they are incredibly, incredibly close to one another compared to like most other formats.
Yeah, I would agree.
You get your like Boros synth guy, like, popping off on like turn 4, like doing a bunch of like synthesizer garbage with the Glenhawk and stuff, like taking 5 million game actions.
Love it.
It's a lot cooler than like tapping up for a Murktide Regent holding up Counterspell in Modern, Or not necessarily cooler, but like the amount of Magic being played in both formats I feel like is like so close. And I would love to see like some sort of analysis from somebody who has like looked at like each format and like figured out like the average amount of game actions that take place in your average game.
That'd probably be incredibly difficult to keep track of. But
Absolutely.
But
like
I get your sentiment. I do think just by nature of what this, like specifically Pauper, what the format is, there's going to be most likely more game actions taken in this format than most others because the games are just generically going to go longer. Because you got to think. Well, I know I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but during the last Common Ground Cup, Mason walked up to us and was like, "Why the hell does everyone play 18 lands in their mid range deck?" He's like, "I just don't understand. I don't get it." I'm like, because our 2-drops all draw a card. So if you just have the 2 mana, you're good. But
we have Ancestral Recall.
not anymore.
Oh, true. Yeah.
No, like our actual Ancestral Recall is gone.
We have 2 mana or
Yeah.
4 mana Ancestral Recall.
Yeah.
And 5 mana Ancestral Recall that sometimes gets you an island.
It does sometimes get you an island. That's my secret mode. Is that you
Secret
sometimes
mode
draw
is
three
sometimes
cards?
you
Casting
sometimes
that
draw
card
three
for
cards.
5 mana in both formats. It feels so good because like, you
It's
just
still
know the
fine.
game is over when that happens. You just know.
Yeah.
I'm also working on a deck that feels really good when you do that, and you have like so much mana left over.
And I think another point is that obviously Legacy has the entire card pool of every card basically ever printed, for the most part.
Yeah, and there is so many powerful cards printed at common that you play in like both formats, like all the ones we've already talked about.
Yeah,
and also like
we
the level of
not even
interaction that we have access to as well. Even like, you know, back in the day, like pre like Days Band and stuff, like the amount of like choices we have for like efficient interaction is phenomenal between the two formats. Like specifically like Red Blast versus Blue Blast, like Pyro versus Hydro. Like I think those are two of some of like the coolest cards ever printed besides Swords to Plowshares. But
no arguments from me.
them being like as prevalent is such a cool overlap between the two, and just like those cards will transcend time from being like some of the best pieces of interaction you could possibly play.
Yeah, I mean, so we just have like on that
And they're
point,
commons.
Yeah, like at that point, like they're very targeted like pieces of hate, right? And so I mean, the same goes for Legacy. Like your sideboard cards are all pretty targeted pieces of hate. Like they have a purpose, like a real purpose for like there's a matchup like that this is here for, like, and that's the only reason it's here. Like,
you're not just packing your emotional support Poison Dart Frog.
I think my favorite use, not even necessarily useless, but I think my favorite over sideboarded card in Legacy, and you'd probably agree with me on this one, is Surgical Extraction. I think it's over sideboarded in Legacy and has been the most probably over sideboarded card in all of Legacy.
I'd agree. It's a pretty tough card to on like a very surface level, if you're not super enfranchised with the format, to understand where it's like actually shines and where it's actually good.
I got a fun story for you, and this is a lesson I learned from Mr. James Hess, my Legacy,
another Legacy aficionado.
A Legacy aficionado. I've learned a lot
for
of
the
things.
first time at TNLG. I was playing pickup with Ellison, and he showed up, and I was like, "Who are you?" And he was like, "I'm the Hess."
The Hess. You know, James Hess, old Legacy player. You actually find footage of him from old SCG days, where he turned to his elves opponent in the mirror, and it was hilarious.
That's another thing I want to talk about elves, but you keep going.
But anyway, so there is an interaction that came up, and he told me about this, and I watched him do it, and it absolutely blew this Miracles player out of the water. It was hilarious. It was with Surgical Extraction, and it was just literally did not matter what the card was, because this is back in top days. Like, you just put top on top or whatever.
Yeah.
But he, knowing that his opponent had a Miracle on top, he's just like, Surgical, literally any card in the graveyard, it doesn't matter. Force the shuffle. So funny.
Yeah.
And his opponent was just like,
Okay.
So I watched that, and I always keep that in the back of my brain. And something else, another old head, I will say old head, taught me is that the games of Legacy that you play will always be relevant. You're going to learn something that is going to be relevant for you in the future. Like your games that I played 10 years ago, there's still something in that game that I could have played that was that is relevant to me playing a game of Legacy today. Whatever that may be.
I mean, I think across all formats.
I think it's across all formats, but
yeah.
this is specifically for more Eternal. This is for Eternal formats.
Sure.
That you're just like, the knowledge of what you've gained is never going to go, like, never has to go, and it's never not relevant.
Yeah. I think Pauper has a very similar vibe, where I feel personally that I have compounded upon my own experience and learned more about how I intuitively play my deck choices through the format, more so than I've learned from, like, I've certainly learned a lot from, like, you and Cameron, and from you, Carson, and just, like, playing with our friends, or listening to YouTube content creators or other podcasts, like, talk about the format. But for the most part, I feel like I learned the most from compounding my own experience of games and the things I've learned, and these are the things I need to look out for. These are the tells I know. I think I know my opponent's going to try and fire off a Weather the Storm here. I'm going to hold off, and like these things you intuit over time. I think Eternal formats are really, really good at teaching that, which is like a skill I think you need to learn in Magic overall, but the context changes so much more with something like Standard or Limited, that those are different skills to flex. Like, how can you adapt? How can you learn quickly on how to apply that to a new format?
I feel like that has a big part to do with how slowly the card pool changes between like in like Eternal formats in general. You're always going to have Brainstorm. You're always going to have Ponder. You're always going to have Counterspell and Pauper. You're always going to have the Blasts, you know? And learning how to play around those cards is a skill that like transcends time and also transcends formats as well.
Helps you out in Cube.
Yeah. But one important card that we forgot to mention thus far, and I think it is definitely deserves its own mention across both formats, is Lightning Bolt.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We've completely missed on Lightning Bolt. Bolt.
It's on my list that I have in my notes app.
So Lightning Bolt is what keeps the red aggressive decks functioning. Like essentially, like it's what does all of the things. It does every part of the game plan so elegantly. Like if you need it to literally just kill your opponent, it's there for that. If you need it to kill a creature, it's there for that. And all at the beautiful, beautiful cost of just red.
I literally pulled one out from I was sorting cards the other day. I pulled it out from a stack and I just held it up to Hana. I'm like, look at this. Look, Lightning Bolt.
It's one of the most
It's one of the most
elegantly designed cards, and yet it is just one of the most simple cards.
From just right off the bat, Alpha, boom, they nailed it.
It's just
Boom.
one of the best. Yeah,
it's so sick.
Yeah, it's one of the most efficient and best cards ever printed. I mean, that remains true. That's
Let's just play old school, guys.
You couldn't. I don't think you could pay me enough for that. I really.
They had it right the first time.
Pre-modern, I might be a little more into it.
Pre-modern rocks. Any format I can guess Swords to Plowshares.
That's kind of where I'm. I was like, I do really want a kind of a reason to play Swords to Plowshares. It's not Legacy.
I mean, it's probably way too good for Pauper, but 1,000,000% too good for Pauper. But I feel like the white interaction suite that we have access to in Legacy is like a big part of, or a big thing that's lacking in Pauper's format identity.
I think
it doesn't really have. I mean, we have like Thraben Charm is like phenomenal.
Yeah,
One of
a
like
big
the
upgrade.
best additions to the format we've had in a very long time. But like, we're lacking a Swords to Plowshares. We're lacking the mana bases that can support Prismatic Ending.
So,
and we don't have Prismatic Ending in the format, obviously. But still, you get what I'm saying.
That, yeah.
Stuff
something
like that.
Something that scales.
We do have one. We have Journey to Nowhere. That's our equivalent to Swords to Plowshares. That's what our version of that is. So, I mean, it's not like that we just don't have like a good removal spell. It's like that's a good removal spell, as is Thraben Charm. So, I mean, you just have to.
They can Thraben Charm your
Journey to
Nowhere.
Correct. They can. Whereas that would not happen with Swords to Plowshares.
It's not perfect.
I understand. But except we do have like some close approximations for cards that are like highlights of a format like Legacy, where Swords to Plowshares is thriving. But we just have similar effects at least.
It'd be interesting if white got something for a single mana that was a little bit more.
I feel like that would be
comparable.
like a more like balanced swords.
I think a card that would be
phenomenal,
interesting in this
format.
space would be Oust.
Oust would be
Oust
really
would be
great.
interesting.
Oust would be interesting.
That would be
There's
really...
enough tokens in the format too that it's pretty good at just popping a token.
Yeah, just like it's like burying a terror for a couple turns. Assuming your opponent doesn't have a cantrip in the late game.
I could absolutely see that in the format.
Oust is a cool card.
Oust is okay.
It's a sorcery, so it's not like insane, but it will remove anything.
Right.
So there's that.
But what if they made a
PFP.
sorcery speed Path to Exile? That'd be too much.
I think it's bad.
That's probably
yeah.
I think it's just not good. I think this is actively just not good.
In Pauper though.
I think it's still not good. Like, still giving them an extra land is big game. I think it actually might be even bigger game because of the mana efficiency issues
Right.
that we've brought up.
true.
Right. Well, that's the balance that I think it's bringing in. So.
Another similarity.
Just give us Path to Exile.
But I think that crosses a line though.
I do think it crosses
You're
a
saying
line.
like the instant speed.
Yeah.
I think the 1 mana instant speed being part of it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another cool thing that both formats share is and you really don't see it basically anywhere else anymore, is the dredge mechanic.
Ooh, true.
Aside from Vintage, for the lucky folks who get to play Vintage, I'm sorry.
There's not too much of it in Legacy anymore.
No, but it is still a deck that people like
But
LED.
we still have a life from the limb.
You still have LED dredge. It's still a deck.
And
people can play.
everyone
It's a deck
knows
you can
about.
register.
Huh?
It's a deck you can register for sure in Legacy right now.
Yeah.
That's the same. That's the same as saying that you can register Dredge in Legacy or in Pauper right now.
But it's like everyone knows about the manaless Dredge deck in Legacy, where you just discard a hand size and you just go. Like everyone knows it exists.
So funny enough, you know how all the joke is, oh, I wonder what deck wants to be on the draw.
Right.
So the Zubera Storm guy, like he said that in a non-joking way, and I was just like, I held it for a minute, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna be the one to say Manaless Dredge, and I couldn't help myself, and I'm just like, Manaless Dredge. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays it's like
I just like, oh, that was a joke that just literally, like I thought I was prepared for it before
like
he was even done with it.
For the pre-COVID gamers.
It's like,
like post-COVID, I think if you ask the average Magic player now what Manaless Dredge is, they wouldn't be able to tell you.
It's definitely a boomer reference.
It is a boomer reference.
That's fair.
It's the worst version of Spy, everyone, for those who don't know, basically.
Another thing that we briefly mentioned earlier, but the Elves deck, the overlap between the two, between Pauper and like Legacy is so high. Like we're missing Gaia's Cradle, obviously, but like we still have like Kyrian Ranger. I mean, like we have all like the normal dork.
Kyrian Ranger is really this point, I think the only piece they share.
But back in the day, we had so many.
Back in the day, we had more.
Back in the day,
right?
Yeah, I feel like that, especially when this moniker, like the Legacy Light moniker, first really came up, we had days, and the Elves deck was like basically like 40 out of 60 of the main deck was like probably the same.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Very, very close. And like Delver's Secrets was the best threat in the format. Where nowadays, like the format has like really shifted into its own really beautiful, really cool identity, disassociating itself from like anything else you really see in the game. Like there's themes, like overlapping themes between the two that we've talked about already today, but Pauper is just such a different beast now than it used to be, and I think that's beautiful.
Agreed. I do like that it has its own form. It has gotten away a little bit from what the we used to know as the like Legacy Light term, but I still think, again, like we've just discussed, like there's tons of overlap that we still have there. There's still the really efficient interaction.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not.
No. I know. I'm just highlighting why it's great. But it's nice that we can still maintain that like moniker and it still be its own thing of being just.
Instead of Bolt Your Delver, I mean, we still have Bolt Your Delver, but we also have Mind Collapse Your Writhing Chrysalis.
It's true.
That's been my sick tech recently.
You can
which
do
isn't
that.
Actually unique tech that I came up with, but that card won me an RCQ. You know.
Yeah, it did.
Love me a Mind Collapse.
Mind Collapse is a sick one.
Cast a Wish with 1,000,000 instants or sorceries with a Ral in play that hasn't flipped. Whiff, no mana floating. Cast your Mind Collapse from the board, flip it. Queue for the RC. Dude.
Couldn't beat me, though.
That was like the second highest high I've ever had in this game.
Let's go.
Wait, you're telling me you couldn't beat my deck with 4 main deck Force Negation, 4 main deck Endurance, and 4 main deck Subtleties?
Oh my god, against dude, I was a mess that match.
It was not good, because I didn't know what was going on. I'll be real. So at the time, like, I had played no Modern, and I'm like, I just own Living End. I don't know. It can't be that different. I was missing like 3 cards. And I'm like, hey, Jonathan, do you have these cards I can borrow? He's like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, sick. I'm going to play Living End and just cruise into the top 8 of this RCQ. And then before I get to the top of this RCQ, I have to play against Carson. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you're just going to stonewall beat me, like beat the pants off me. And I'm like, well, I just didn't think about it. I just didn't think about how things were going to play out. I was like, 4 Force Negation, 4 Endurances.
Against my
brutal
Flame Storm deck.
Your non-creature spell graveyard combo deck. Yeah, weird.
That was a good time.
It was funny.
Oh man. Are there other shared identities that we wanted to talk about, and or more like how the format has split off from each other? Like where do we want to take the next section?
So I think the one bonus of playing Pauper that you do not get playing Legacy is you have an entire format panel.
Yes.
Smile.
For better or for worse. I'm staunchly in the anti-format panel for Legacy, but I like that it's there for Pauper, since it's like, I mean, like, Legacy is the most casual competitive format that in like the entire game.
At this point, yeah, I would agree.
but having a format panel just doesn't sound correct for the Legacy format. Although I do wish they communicated a little bit more and like showed that they actually paid more attention to the format.
They've been paying a little bit more attention in the last year.
For sure. Like I like Carmen a lot. I think she is a phenomenal person for the game and what she does. But the past two like Legacy BNR updates have felt like pretty out of touch.
I think
the format is a little out of touch. I think
the format
too.
The format has been consistently
Incredibly
like
so.
3 or 4 BNRs behind for the past like 3 years.
Yeah, and I just think it's
Maybe
just.
even
I mean, it's
longer.
just not necessarily a priority because you're not gaining new players because all the cards are incredibly expensive.
Oh, absolutely.
So
it is one of the most prohibitive formats from
Yes.
entry.
So
But I will also. Oh, that's a massive thing. All right,
you seem very
Okay.
enthusiastic. I'll let you go.
the community.
Yes.
The community overlaps between the two. Not just like the player bases overlapping with one another, but how welcoming and opening and like kind, for the most part, both formats are. Legacy players do not care if you play with proxies. They do not care like what entry level you come from. They just want people to play their format.
just wanna play.
And Pauper players just want to play. Just doing it purely for the love of the game. No RCQ grind, no Pro Tour aspirations.
Nope.
Just the love of the game and playing Magic in some of its purest forms.
Yeah,
I think is incredible. And it's a large part of why I really feel very attached to both formats.
it's been a delight to kind of be, I guess, a stalwart, I guess, if you want to use the word, across different communities, for Pauper. It's been nice. It's like, oh, I can speak highly of it, and like it's like I'm knowledgeable about it. Like I am passionate about it. It's like I think it's a great format. I think it is literally on paper the best format right now. I don't
agree.
think anyone
Vintage
that's
looks
actually
pretty
playing
sweet,
it would
though.
disagree with me.
Vintage looks pretty sweet right now, though.
Huh?
Vintage looks
Oh,
pretty sweet.
Give me a break. Of formats that people are actually going to play. Yes, I'm sorry, Justin. Justin people, and I do not mean Justin Mullins. And Justin, I can't remember his last name. He played. I am actually level 1.
I wonder how your viewers feel.
I'm actually level 1 for all your vintage content. Very good.
I don't know about any viewers.
I wonder how your listeners feel when they're like being like, "Oh, Joe Schmo," and Mr. Who's a what's it? Like if they like what they think of when Ethan like talking about people.
No idea.
If they know, they know.
Yeah, exactly.
His name is. I am actually level 1 on all the socials and stuff.
Oh,
His name is Justin
Jim Nani or whatever. Yeah. Whatever his last name is.
Whatever
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But he is like, again, he's very much the same way. He's just like a huge stalwart for vintage. He puts out all the data for vintage. He puts a lot of work. He might as well just be the vintage guy. Like that's just who that is.
And that's the thing we see in eternal formats that we don't really see in like a lot of other formats.
Not anymore.
Mainly because of like the prevalence of data we have for like the current RCQ format and like all of those formats. But there are people who are like staunch like the data
Format
engineers
advocates.
Yeah.
for like compiling all the data and win rates and all this for these eternal formats that do not necessarily get like the light of day that like these other formats do because they just love it so much. Another thing too is, speaking of community driven events between the two,
Bangers.
awesome. Some of the
so
most
much
fun
fun.
I've ever had playing Magic. I mean, like Eternal Weekend isn't community. I mean, I would argue Eternal Weekend is like pretty community driven at this
absolutely.
point.
I agree.
But like we have like Buffalo Chicken
That's
Dip,
what
like
popped
that's
into my head.
sick.
We used to have them.
Such
used
a
to have
cool
them
event.
used to have the Missouri Legacy thing going that was really big for a while. That his name was Jeremy something. Anyways, he was he was good about like right after COVID he was about to put on like a 100K Legacy tournament.
Wow.
Like that was I actually signed up. I actually got into it. Like
Yeah.
it was like you had to like sign up early because it was going to run out. So like it was like me, Justin Mullins, James Hess. We're going to go to this like big huge Legacy tournament. But so like $100,000 Legacy tournament doesn't end it with a Lotus as a door prize. Doesn't just happen out of
I remember this. I remember this.
thin
Yeah.
air.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, like that's so sick. And like Paupergeddon being as big as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's crazy. And like the fact that like, I mean, like WotC has like little to nothing to do with it and like little to nothing to do with like Eternal Weekend. And like being like pretty hands off and letting the community really like take the action on the direction of these formats. so sick.
I'll actually sidewind here a little bit for what episode of the Common Ground podcast would it be if we didn't talk about Cube. I feel very similar. I feel very similarly about like my.
We're talking about other formats on our Cube podcast.
I feel very similarly about like my experience at CubeCon, which is like the love and like real true development of a big tournament like that size for it to run as smoothly as it did. Like that takes like a lot of effort from a lot of people that are really invested in people enjoying their Cube scenes.
And you just don't see that at like the like RC level or like the SUG level. Obviously a lot of passion and like effort goes into those, and I'm not saying that like it doesn't have the same amount, but like it is, you just feel it so much harder at these like community events.
I think there's a different vibe around the competitive base these days.
You're telling me I can get hammered at Paupergeddon and like it's okay? Like, did you hear about like there's like some like crew of like dudes that go to like Paupergeddon every year, and apparently they have like they like serve beer and like serve alcohol there. Apparently every single round, if they lose, they have a bet with each other where they have to like chug a beer.
They have to
every time they
drink.
lose a round.
Yeah.
Like that's hilarious.
Right. Well, that's the fun part about the one cool thing about Magic Cons is that that is a thing you can do.
Yeah, you can buy a $12 Miller Lite.
So yeah, you can just get schmammered in between rounds of Pauper. It's funny, very funny. But yeah, there's like the community is like a very big thing, and that's part of that's probably my favorite part about the whole thing in general. It's just like, I get to hang around. These are like the same people that I enjoy hanging around regardless, anyways. And I just get to play a format I already enjoy as it is. And things are as wide open as they are. Same with Legacy. Like, Legacy's a wide open format. Every card ever been printed in that format.
Wide open for the most part.
Sure.
It's a lot wider open now. I mean, they took my favorite bird out back and shot it like Old Yeller.
Absolutely should have, and you know it.
Nadu was a
you
mistake.
know like, that is not even, okay.
I agree.
Okay.
I like Nadu and Entomb, absolutely. But like no mention of like Tameo or the One Ring. Like this is going to be Mystic Forge, like Narset Hellscape for the next like however long until they feel like gracing their eyes on the format again. But that's a whole other rant.
But yeah, so I feel very fortunate to have a panel attached to my format.
I like how clearly they communicate with the player base.
Yes,
it is nice.
It's a huge win.
Yes, the transparency and be like, hey, this is what we're looking at. Like these are the next things that we are looking at is very nice. Instead of just being like,
Yeah. On the events point too, just as we are becoming just like as the podcast and collaborating with like Game Night to make the Common Ground Cup happen, like stepping into a role as community organizers too has been really, really fun. It is a lot of work, like you said, James. That's absolutely true. But like I personally get a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy to create spaces where people I enjoy and even people I don't know can come together and be passionate about something they're passionate about. That's one of my greatest joys in life, is just like watching someone who's passionate about perform, or listen to someone who's passionate about some educational or scientific topic just go off, and I'm just listening, learning. Like I love passion in people because I'm also a very passionate person, and so I have a lot of passion for making events happen, and so much passion that I sometimes bite off more than I can chew in the case of the US Paupergeddon plans. But we'll circle back around to that eventually.
That's still in motion, right?
Right? Yeah. Oh, it's still in motion. Absolutely. Oh yeah. No. Folks are making it happen. And we'll get involved a little bit down the line for sure. But like getting to bring the Common Ground Cup to life, and potentially maybe some other things around the Nashville area and beyond. Like I personally love making these spaces for folks to just hang out, be themselves, have fun, be with community, play Magic. Like that's awesome.
Both communities do such a good job of like promoting each other. Like Eternal formats in general. You know, like in the Discord, especially like the Common Ground one, like you guys have people talking about like events in like Missouri and like people figuring out like, you know, how to get there and how to do all that. And like getting people hyped for Common Ground. I mean, like I'm really trying to convince like some of my Philly buddies to like come down for the Cup. And I think it might be happening with a couple of them.
Awesome.
It better be. Or next Team Trios.
Or both.
Team Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Oh, I just want the official NFL team of the Common Ground MTG podcast is the Philadelphia Eagles.
I have no association with any sports team whatsoever.
Yes, you do. You like the Birds. Go Birds.
No, I simply none of it matters to me. Not even in the slightest.
Screw Dallas. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Part of more community things.
Yeah.
So one thing that happened when I started getting into Legacy, what year is it? A decade ago.
Nice.
You got
actually,
a few more years than I do.
Yeah.
I think I started playing Legacy around the same time I started playing Pauper, like late 2018, early 2019.
I started playing Pauper after I graduated high school. Or sorry, Pauper. I started playing Pauper before I graduated high school. I started playing Legacy after I graduated high school.
Which, fun fact, we had the same starting deck. I started on Death and Taxes. I sold all of my duels.
Not
in
start on the
CDH.
same deck.
What?
We did not start on the same
I
deck.
thought
James
you were
became-
always
he
Death and Taxes guy.
He is the Death and Taxes
I am the
guy.
Death and Taxes guy, but I became the Death and Taxes
Well,
guy.
you're no like Austin Walker, but you know,
Along with the pod.
along with the pod. Best Death and Taxes player in.
Honestly,
the
at this
world.
point, he plays
In
more
the
Magic than me,
universe.
so I would be willing to concede that. But back then, when Nashville was kind of in a revival stage as far as like getting a bunch of newer players to play different formats like that, like there were some older players who played, and they were kind of already around to help start this stuff. People like Trey, people like James Hess, those kind of folk. They've been around. They'd played the format or whatever. But it was really nice having, in specifically the Nashville area, was having someone like Justin Mullins, who was incredibly passionate about Legacy on the whole. And RIP pour one out for him. Honestly, he just lost a decade worth of Magic in this last ban in a restricted announcement.
Oof.
Losing Entomb for him, has been devastating.
Oof.
And the writing was on the wall for so long.
I mean, yeah, it has been, but like that's a card he really, really, really liked playing.
Yeah.
So,
But without someone like Justin bringing the format to these events,
literally would just carry like, I don't know, 10, 12 Legacy decks in his
that's
back.
crazy. He was showing me a
backpacks.
spreadsheet of like all his duels. He owns like 12 like
Yeah, the dude's just
Badlands.
I love him,
And like 8 Underground Seas.
I love him.
And just carries
will
a
tell
box
him-
around with
Yeah.
like just like,
like
I
you're-
can't
yeah,
even
you can play.
imagine like how much money we're like at least like $60,000.
Oh, he's got more than that.
much more. Yeah,
He's got more than that.
that was probably
That dude has down payments in his backpack on a house. I'm just saying. But anyways, so if it wasn't for people like him who just was there to like every single week offering, hey, I have these. If you want any of these, come play. Same thing here. Like any of us have multiple Pauper decks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like anybody that wants to come play. Come on.
Yeah.
Like I actively want you to come play. Like come play with me.
we have enough just between the three of us on the pod. Like, and Carson, you have a ton of the format as well.
Oh, yeah. All
like,
shiny and sick.
Oh yeah, you're big on the foil,
yeah.
bling.
You are, yeah.
Like between just a couple of us and any of us in our Nashville Pauper community, like we could bring a new player and we can literally just send them the like goldfish page of all the relevant Pauper
be like,
decks.
which of these you
be
want?
like, what do you want? You can play anything you want and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Basically-
unless it has 4 Lotus Petals.
That is currently sitting in my cart on Card Kingdom.
Ooh.
None of you guys own Lotus Petals?
TNLG has a damaged one for $19.
Can't
I
do
might
it.
go get
I'm gonna
it.
buy.
I
I'm gonna
might
buy
go
an
get it.
original set of Tempest
Get
ones.
nice cards.
Yeah,
Get nice
it's
cards.
Tempest.
Oh, I'm gonna get. If I'm gonna get it because I a couple weeks ago you were putting in an order for people because charging. That is the worst part about buying Pauper cards. Is it actually blows.
You pay like $2
pay-
in shipping for like a 5-cent card.
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing. So I bought, or a couple weeks ago, you were getting Elves of Deep Shadows for people, or you were going to get Elves of Deep Shadows.
For Senti.
And then I was like, I think I also need Elves of Deep Shadows. So I was like, I think I need the original ones. God, they're so much more expensive than the other ones. Why am I doing this?
Oh no, like $5 versus like $1.
No, like $18.
What?
For the dark?
for an original
Yo,
dark?
that's crazy.
For the
damn.
per one of the dark. So
Yeah.
that's the same thing with. Actually, today is the first time I ever saw one of the Sonic Lotus Petals.
They're horrendous.
I actually kind of like them. I'm not gonna lie.
The gems or whatever.
kinda like it.
The Chaos Emeralds.
It's kind of sweet.
Okay.
I really like Sonic as a kid.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I'm just like
That tracks.
Also,
That does track.
I missed that one.
they just look pretty, actually.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, they look good.
Some of the UB stuff is cool.
Yeah,
I'm working. I have in the back of my mind, I'm working on a cube project where the like cool, good stuff to do is all based around UB cards that I think are actually cool.
Fair.
Yeah. So like Weeping Angel from Doctor Who. Ooh. There's gonna be a lot of that sort of stuff in blue black. Oh yeah.
But tying the room together.
Yeah. It's community
stuff. And say
Yeah.
any of us are always willing to lend out something for somebody to play. Almost every single week, I have Mr. Thomas Bitter message me and be like, "What should I play this week?" And then he'd be like, "I'm like, I don't know." He's like, "Do you have this?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you want to play this?" Here you go. I just handed him like quote mono green dragons.
And like legacy players too, like, you know, like people will lend out thousands and thousands of dollars just so people can like enter. Like I forget the guy's name, but he's like a really big vintage guy. He just lent out like full power to like some stranger
Sounds like
on
Roland
Twitter.
Chang, probably.
Probably.
That sounds like something he would do. He's a very big,
but like stuff like that, and like
guy.
other people have probably played with my Volcanic Island more than I've ever played with my Volcanic Island.
Yeah,
You just want to see it played.
I just want people to play the format, man, because
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I think I think what really, and this will kind of highlight, I guess not highlight, I guess we'll highlight the reason I kind of left Legacy is just like, this does not look like the format that I fell in love with. That's the only thing I have to say, is that it does not look anywhere close to the format that I fell in love with.
But sometimes change is really cool.
That's fine.
It can be.
It can be. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum necessarily. But the things that I enjoyed about the format, they're just not necessarily there.
The increase in power level from the Modern Horizon sets,
Yes.
Commander and other supplemental product cards being basically only Legacy and Vintage legal in competitive formats, outside of Commons and Pauper, of course. Things like that have really altered not just in Modern for Modern Horizons, but definitely in Legacy, like Murktide Regent, and we got that like Allosaurus Shepherd from like a Jumpstart or whatever.
That really helped
I
out.
feel like that's like a whole other discussion, though.
No, absolutely. It's definitely like Universe Beyond, blah blah blah, like all this stuff, like the Initiative, Pyrogoyf, like all of this sort of stuff.
And
like,
I think,
and that's an issue that like transcends formats as well, too.
I'm tying this in, I promise.
yeah.
So the one thing that is cool on the flip side is that obviously the Pauper format looks way different than the Pauper format that I fell in love with initially, that I really enjoyed. However, it's the price tag. It's that beautiful price tag.
Price tag.
The price.
Is
so you're in
very attractive.
So like
It's pretty nice. But once
those,
you have the format staples, like in Legacy, if you are very well enfranchised and you have the duels and you have the forces and all that stuff, everything else in comparison is just, the price tag is so low.
My only issue with that is like, how much is a set of Volcanic Islands?
You could probably get like a beat set for like,
how much is a set that you would buy?
that I would buy. I'd probably drop like 1,400, but like those are cards that you own for like literal decades.
The same applies. However, you're basically forcing yourself into one. I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but you're forcing yourself into one thing that you're able to do. You're able to play blue-red decks, right? For $1,400.
But on the flip side, like getting duels and like all these cards on like Moto is like super
incredibly
cheap in comparison. Like renting that and like finding like proxy events are like more,
yes,
like much more prevalent now than they used to be. And I feel like availability to the format and like the bar to entry is so much lower than I feel like a lot of people give it credit for, because they look at the MTG Goldfish price tag and be like, oh my god, $4,000 for a Legacy deck? That's crazy, which it is. I think dual land should be free. I think the reserve list is BS. This is like coming from a guy who probably has like $4,000 in reserve list cards, you know? I don't care if that disappears.
I
if
had a
they
guy-
decide to
Right.
reprint Volcanic Island tomorrow.
Yeah.
I had a guy years and years ago, actually, right before my first Legacy GP that I played in Seattle in 2018, I want to say, who basically owned the format. Like he was just like, I just want to play. I just want to play. I just want to play with Legacy. That's all I want. I just want to play Legacy. And so he was just like, I literally don't care if they printed every single one of these cards into the dirt for value. Literally didn't care. He's like, I just want people to play this format.
That's the right attitude.
Yeah, it's shout out to him. He was a cool dude.
I would recommend for people who feel like they can't play the format because of the price tag and because they think the bar to entry is so high, get your buddies who are interested, proxy a deck, just play together, like jam some pickup games, get on Modo if you're comfortable with that client, like rent a deck for like, you can get like most legacy decks with like the like $35 Mana Trader subscription, like the $40 one. That's what I have. Like you can play the entire format at like one of its highest levels on Modo.
And a lot of your Pauper knowledge and instincts will help you in Legacy as well.
There's so much overlap in the play patterns.
Because of
learning how to brainstorm properly.
Yes.
Or learning just how to cantrip. Knowing what you're digging for when you cast your cantrip instead of just like firing it off. Knowing when to play around your opponent's like interaction, like blast effects and all of that. Except now you need to read when they have Force of Will or Daze. But like that's just a level of the format. Up.
Right, but that's still
things you need to look at.
I mean,
like,
the baseline of efficiency.
format.
Yeah, the baseline of efficiency in Pauper will help you have a leg up, as opposed to if you were coming from like standard or limited, for example.
And I don't know if this remains true today, but I remember probably 2015 or so. There was a time where I heard a story from in the local area. One of the guy who I looked up to when I was learning how to play Legacy. Specifically for the Death and Taxes, is a guy named Justin Harrell. He's a very, very when he decides to sit down and play Magic, that guy is very, very good at playing Magic. Watching him get absolutely obliterated by green-red monsters from the standard era of like Theros was like listening to him get how badly he just got rolled over by Mason Clark playing Elvish Mystic into Courser of Kurfix. It's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. That is so funny to me. Like, I don't know how close that would remain true today. Like, you just show here's my standard deck. How well does it do against a legacy deck? I'm sure it's not nearly as
right.
I will say if you put like the Madness Burn deck against like Delver in Legacy, I feel it'd be very close. I feel like there's a ton of game that would like be had.
Yeah, you can just out aggressive another like a deck like that. Like you just play like against the mid range, like quote mid range decks or tempo decks of the format or the fair decks. You probably can just run them over.
I was just using that as an example. Like a lot, like if you took that against like a lot of other decks in like the Legacy format, like I feel like Pauper has a lot of game power level wise.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think obviously the power level is not anywhere
it is not
near
low.
as high. It is not low though.
It is not low.
No. Speaking of power level, I had a little idea in the middle of this episode. I have both ban lists pulled up of Legacy, Legacy and Pauper.
You're trying to see if I can get
Gush.
There is some overlap. I want to talk about the overlap. I'll just go down the list. The first up, Arkham's Astrolabe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of, single snow mana for an artifact.
Comes in, draws a card.
That
then
format was hell.
Yeah.
Both formats were hell.
That modern format was,
was hell. Oko, Uro, Arkham's Astrolabe.
Like I remember,
cream my jorts.
I remember the Legacy deck. This is actually one of the best performances I've seen from our friend Ellison. He top 16 to GP with that Astrolabe
Hell
deck.
yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's cracked at Magic.
Yeah.
Who knew?
He just top 32 to GP.
Oh, yeah, and there you go. So he's just very good at Magic.
He's very good at Magic.
Phenomenal player.
But yeah.
But anyways.
Arkham's Astrolabe, just like kind of way too good of an enabler.
Yeah.
The color fixer replaces itself right away. It's an artifact for your affinity stuff. So like in both formats, it did a lot of egregious things.
Correct. No arguments, no notes.
More overlap. Gataxian Probe, which we mentioned.
That card should never have been printed, period.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
No,
the card just not
your deck
printed.
is 56 cards.
Yeah.
And you start at, you don't start at 12 life. But
basically 18.
Basically 18, yeah.
Guaranteed. Frantic Search is on both ban lists. 2 and a blue.
Correct.
To draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands.
Correct.
Just a really good enabler when you have lands tapping for multiple pips of mana, especially bounce lands. You're storming off.
Yeah, the one thing I think another big difference actually is that how willing they are to stop storm decks in Pauper from being way too oppressive.
Yeah.
That problem does not exist in nearly to this degree in Legacy,
Right.
because you have
days and force of will, force
Yeah.
negation.
The lack of free interaction.
Thoughtseizes.
The lack
So
of free
many of
interaction in
these-
the Pauper format is what's preventing these unfair decks from really like taking over and shining when they become prevalent.
Right.
Correct.
Or
Or
reverse that. Reverse that. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yes. I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Yes.
Gush, which you mentioned, Gush, 4 and a blue, but nobody ever casts it for 4 and a blue. Basically, you
Pardon
return. You can. It's like a Lorien. It's like Lorien revealed.
I was
It's
like, pardon
oh,
you. I was
no
like,
one
I've
ever cast this. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
But you can return 2 islands to your hand to draw 2 cards. There's a whole book about this card.
I want to buy it so bad. If anyone,
I knew someone
to
who
all
has
of my
it.
friends listening, if you bought that card for me for
Someone-
my birthday, I would kiss you on the mouth.
Someone brought it to an event
Ryan-
in this last year.
Ryan did.
Yeah. Ryan brought it to show
us.
us. He has
Oh.
he has a hardcover copy.
What about the one team that brought the Guide to Amulet Titan, like at the last Pro Tour, like
Dom Harvey's
yeah,
guide?
Dom Harvey's book that he came
Uh-huh.
out with. They like came with like printed out copies, and just like there's just like so many pictures of people doing some fine reading between rounds at the PT today, and it's just like reading Dom
It's
Harvey's
a
guide.
20,000 word guide on
Yeah,
how to play and beat Amulet Titan.
That's hilarious.
stuff like that's so cool.
Oh my
That's funny.
goodness.
Any further?
Yeah, let me see here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now too.
There's got to be a couple.
There are
more
not that
here.
many commons banned
Yeah,
in
there's
Legacy.
not a-
No, there are a couple.
There's a few. Yeah.
We never had mental misstep in Pauper, right?
No, it's an uncommon. Thank
Yeah.
God. I don't know that I would have nearly as much fun if that card were legal.
Treasure Cruise.
Treasure Cruise.
Oh,
another
course.
busted
Yeah.
blue draw spell.
Oh my god!
Wait a minute.
Someone was probably screaming at their like headphones.
Well, I'm scrolling through the alphabetical order and just making sure everything what
was
what
like-
is a common
I was
here.
like, I don't know. I've seen way too many Magic
Yeah.
cards in my time. My brain is full of them.
That's true. Yeah, Treasure Cruise. I think that's the only other overlap. Though one interesting thing I will call out is that Troll of Khazad-dûm has been within this last
Yep.
year banned in Legacy. It is still legal in Pauper.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have like a single
Actual
mana
factual
reanimate spell, but we do have Exhume, and
We have
there are people
Entomb
playing
Exhume.
around
I mean
with that.
back when that moniker really started like picking up, people played Exhume in the Legacy format. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
And now we have actual factual Entomb Exhume, Cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm, cast Exhume. It sucks and it's terrible, but like
It's not terrible.
It
It was a really good backup plan for the Goblin combo deck a couple years ago.
It was also good in Dredge.
Yep. Also, yeah, Exhume is also
Very
very
good
good in
in
Dredge.
Dredge. Well, 'cause
Generous
Dredge-
Ent is a great thing to reanimate too.
yeah.
Except you want to reanimate them a lot with Giants.
You do.
Yeah,
At the-
you,
when you're- when
the
you-
decks
when
that
you
are
get
playing
there.
Exhume, you don't want to Exhume. Those
It's just
cards.
Dread Return has become the reanimation
Unless you're playing
spell
against red
of choice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Dredge is not
Then
the.
you want to Exhume your fatty super early and kill your other opponent before they kill you.
Yeah, like there are some implications, like people have like sneaky snackers in the bin and like all sorts of stuff that Exhume is also gonna trigger. Yeah. I just wanted to call that out. I thought that was interesting.
So
It's also part of this turn one refurbished familiar deck is with Dark Rituals also gonna have a troll Exhume stuff going on. This deck's gonna be bad.
somebody's cooking.
Yeah, this deck sounds
Oh, I'm
awful,
cooking.
and I love
That's
it.
just one of like 4 decks I have right now.
You are cooking with gas. And you
I am
are huffing
cooking.
it, and I love it.
I'm cooking gas. I'm hoping at the risk of talking about my plans before they
Your
are a thing.
machinations.
I'm hoping to get back into streaming, and I think a decent amount of my streaming will be Pauper content, and so and then potentially some more content to put up on the YouTube page for
Yeah.
Common Ground.
I was looking
So-
at your YouTube channel. You got like decent views on like the videos where you do like VODs and stuff.
Yeah.
Or,
We haven't done many of them, but yeah.
yeah.
they do
I was
pretty
like,
well.
I was kind of shocked. That was really cool.
Yeah. People like it.
People like
like
it.
that sort of stuff.
It's wild. Like,
People listen.
seeing,
Weird.
It is wild. Like seeing you guys now. Like when y'all were like talking, just like about like making this podcast happen. When I was first becoming friends with you guys, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'll listen to it. I'll show it to my buddies. And now like it's exploded. Like that's wild to me still.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
It's
You'll-
wild to us too.
Trust me, it is also insane to us. Someone, actually, a friend of mine that I don't really talk to very often, I actually just told him today. I said, yeah. I forgot I had never told him about the podcast in general.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, yeah, my podcast, 100 episodes. He's like, I'm proud of you.
Aw,
I was
nice.
like, oh, thank you.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sick.
But yeah, Legacy Light.
Legacy Light.
Pauper.
Legacy Light.
I think it's just kind of its own thing, and I like that. It's Eternal Magic, but it feels separate from the other Eternal formats in a really cool way. It has its own identity, and
But it still has the pillars of like common format identities and being very community driven.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah, I think the community aspect that you both brought up. I think that's really has remained more of a constant core throughout, and I think is maybe even more of a part of its core identity when in compared to Legacy now as well. Between the two, I think that's really cool.
Oh my god! The other day I heard somebody cast a Forcible at Fat Bites.
Really?
Yeah, I was getting dinner there yesterday before I was hanging out with Chris. And just the table nearby me, I just heard like Forcible pitch something. I forget what they pitched, but I just heard that. I was like, whoa, that's
in the wild.
I was in the wild. I mean, albeit it's the restaurant that's 2 minutes from our LGS, but like, you know, hearing someone say Forcible in a public setting, it was just that's
kind of sick.
I have those
just
moments
like on the
occasion.
bar table.
I have those moments on occasion where I'll
mix those cheap, like awful fake gourds they have on the tables at Fat Bites. I love that place.
Fat Bites is cool. Actually, so funny. Yesterday while we were playing Daggerheart, I mentioned the cheesecake stuffed waffle thing they have.
Yeah.
And Mike
they have that?
Cheesecake stuffed waffle with a blueberry compote on top, baby. It is powerful.
Oh yeah, brunch menu, baby.
Can we get that when I come back from my Thanksgiving trip?
Yep.
Yeah,
we're doing that.
Yeah,
I would. But that's
that's my birthday present to you.
So he has like a list of him.
Also, happy early birthday, Hippo.
Thank you.
Happy early birthday.
Yes, by the time or. Actually,
I think we'll be recording on your birthday.
Probably not.
Okay.
I might veto that.
Someone's going to be cubing, and
I don't know. I'm taking the day off.
Yes, good.
So you're cubing.
I don't know. Probably lay in bed. I'm just gonna sleep and be lazy as hell.
That sounds like a great birthday.
But what we're talking about,
Fat Bites brunch.
Well, yeah, before that. Oh, you have a story for us.
Oh, I do have a story.
This is our Carson story time before we get into the
originally the
stuff.
plan for me being a guest on here was it was going to be the next story time episode.
Yeah, we were going to do like a few minutes of band talk, but then we actually had like a bunch of stuff to talk
but then
about
like it was like pretty big.
Yeah.
So I get it. So I want my one story. I have a lot more. But I've been playing this game.
You'll be back. We'll get you back for proper
I've been playing this game
inebriated storytime episode.
I've been playing this game a very, very long time and have a lot of stories to tell. But this is probably my favorite.
All right, hit us.
And it was at the greatest LGS in the history of the world. Shout out Owl Central in Millersville, Pennsylvania. You guys are my goats.
Birds.
Go Birds.
A little further from Bird. It's still Birds territory, but it was right by my college. But so this is, I think I was a junior or a senior in college at this point. And I show up to, they have a Theros Beyond Death flashback draft. And I loved that set. That was great. That was the last set I drafted before COVID. And so
that's true for everyone.
I know. Yeah. But
sorry.
I remember that pre-release, I opened the promo Ashiok, like the 5-mana planeswalker, the one that makes the 2/3s. Really cool.
Yeah.
And
very
what was
good. Guess
what my pack one pick one was?
Dream Trawler?
No, it was the Ashiok. I opened it. And I was so stoked. Oh my god, I love Dream Trawler. Don't get me talking about that card.
Oh,
that standard was so fun.
It was sweet, I'll admit.
Yeah. But the Elspeth Conquers Death, you kidding me? Oh
yeah.
my god.
ECD BB.
But anyways, so I pack one pick one that Ashiok. And like I am like firmly like I'm forcing blue black. I don't care what happens. Like I'm gonna make the coolest deck in the world. And so I draft this awesome deck, and the one thing I notice is someone passes me a Temple of Deceit, the blue-black land. And I should have taken it. I don't know why I didn't take it, but something in my brain was like, I need to pass this card and wheel it, because, like, who would take it? Obviously, it doesn't come back to me, because, like, the Temples were fantastic in that format, and, like, you know, blue-black is, like, a very powerful archetype in that format. And so I end up in the trophy match, and it's against this guy who, like, I've never really seen before. Like, he'd come in like once or twice. Very casual player. And we're making small talk the whole time, like cracking a couple jokes. And like I end up winning game 1 with the Ashiok. And he's in some, like, he clearly didn't really, like, draft ever before, or, like, a ton before, and was in, like, mono black, like, slop stuff. Just, like, mono black dudes with, like, a couple of removal spells. And so, eventually, we're in game 2. I feel super locked up. The game is basically over. And he goes to draw his card for turn. Keep in mind, before I say what takes place next, this was a very casual F&M. At our local game store. This was not the Pro Tour. This was not Worlds. This was
not a GP Top 8.
It was not GP Top 8.
This was not even an RCQ.
Not even an RCQ. This was casual F&M. Hang out, have a good time. He draws for turn. And he says, this card was actually... I meant to leave this in my sideboard. I just sleeved it because it was a rare. Do you mind if I, like, put this in my box and, like, you know, like, draw a new card for turn? And he shows me, and it's the Temple. It's the Temple of the Seat I passed. And I was like, you know, I don't really see a world where you wouldn't play that card. And, like, we're playing for the trophy. Just, like, I don't know. That feels a little weird. I'm sorry, man. But, like, and he scoops his stuff up. And under his breath, I just hear him go, you're going to have to bleep a lot of
You're
this.
good.
Okay. He goes, Donkey! And I hear that. And I say, don't call me a Donkey! Dick. And his girlfriend's sitting next to him because she had already wrapped up her round. And she looks at me and, like, top of her voice, she says, don't call my boyfriend a dick, douchebag. And so we just start screaming at each other in this LGS room. Just like, don't call people douchebags. And you're just like...
Oh my God.
So you're a piece of... Like, don't even draw cards. It's a stupid game, all this stuff. And I'm just kind of baffled for the most part. Like, I'm defending myself, but I'm not, like, really spitting a ton of it back. I'm just like, what the f*** are you on, dude? And on his way out, he looks at me, and he screamed, and this is the greatest thing anyone has ever yelled at me in my life. He said, F*** you and your planeswalker. And he walks out of the store. Doesn't even take his prizing. Nothing. He's just out of there. And I'm baffled. And all my friends look at me. They're all just like, what just happened? And I look at them all. I'm just like, I don't know. But that was like the funniest thing that's ever happened. And I was a little rattled. I was a little geeked out.
It's the shock.
The shock of what just happened. But then me and my buddy played Legacy for a little bit after that. And I calmed down. I was just like... I think that is the funniest thing that has ever happened to me in this game.
I will say to everyone listening, don't take this game that seriously.
Don't. It's just a game.
Oh my goodness.
You and your planeswalker.
You and your
planeswalker.
Just like starts to go out the door, looks back. And your planeswalker. Oh my God,
that's pretty good.
Well, I hope that they're doing okay these days. Outside of them calling you a. See, why I'm too nice. I'm too nice sometimes.
I hope they're just as toxic and causing just as good stories for other people. Because I love telling that story.
It is very good. Oh my God.
So guess what?
What?
To follow up the ban announcement of High Tide and Pauper, this was a really important week for Pauper on Magic Online.
It was. There was a we didn't really talk about it unfortunately, but there was
I did say this was there was a bunch of events going on this week.
Yeah, you did mention there were a bunch of events. We didn't go into the details. So Magic Online had thank you for sharing your story, Carson. Magic Online had a bunch. They had this like special Pauper challenge basically that you could qualify for to play for free if you trophied, if you got a 5-0 in a league, if you went I think 3-1 or better in
like
the preliminaries, if you did well in a challenge. You could also get in for like I think like 40 tickets or QP points, QPs or whatever that whole system is. But it was like a special challenge just to celebrate Pauper and also give people an opportunity to play more of the format directly after the High Tide ban, et cetera, et cetera. So there was a there was 188 players that played in this special Saturday morning challenge that happened this past weekend. Mm-hmm. And yeah, as you were saying, James, it was a really nice, diverse top 8.
Love to see it. You love to see it.
Absolutely. Especially after, I mean, I think we've had a pretty diverse format in terms of decks that have been doing well recently, but this was a really nice just thing to wake up to on Sunday or see later in the day Saturday and see the stats come in and like, oh, look at this. Do you want to just read it off real quick?
Go for it.
All right. This was the top 8 of this event. In 8th place, and it looks like one player snuck in at 6-2. One player snuck in at 6-2. Everyone else was X1 or better to make top 8, which means that there's 6 and 2s down quite a ways in the standings, which is pretty sick. So a lot of people did do quite well in this tournament. In 8th place, Infinita Love on Blue Black Fairies. In 7th,
sure about that?
It says Infinita Love.
I hardly know you, love.
Infinita Love on Blue Black Fairies. In 7th place, Ed Elric on Rakdos Madness. In 6th place, Season of Mists playing Jund Wildfire. In 5th place, Bruno Guerra on Jeskai Ephemerate. What are you guys looking at?
The actual Magic Online results?
Okay, well, the 5th rate is the same. Why, does it have Jeskai Ephemerate in 8th place,
Yes.
technically? Okay, all right, whatever. They're the 163.
Where it belongs.
You're right.
All right, whatever. All right.
I agree with you.
Everyone, pretend I said Jeskai Ephemerate in 8th place. For some reason, James is trying to champion his beloved Jeskai Ephemerate into 8th place instead of 5th place. And I'm trying to throw him a bone here, but whatever. Anyway, great job, Bruno Guerra. James doesn't think your accomplishments were as good as I thought they were. Anyway.
Putting words in my mouth, I see.
In 4th place, Mothor on Mono Red Madness. In 3rd place, Scipios on Poison Storm.
Love to see it.
In 2nd place, Todeshorst on Spy Combo. And
Ooh.
in 1st place, with a 10-1 record, which is insane, New Barola playing a very recent adaptation by the Mono Blue Terror players, playing 0 Delver of Secrets, as we were just talking about Delver of Secrets a
Get 'em
lot.
outta here.
Get him out of here. Instead, playing 2 Murmuring Mystics in the main and 4 Force Spike.
So you basically move the Dispels to the Murmuring Mystics and then the Delvers to the Force Spikes.
Yeah, just swap the Dispels and the Murmuring Mystics on the board. Yeah. And you go up to a full 4 Ponders with this version. Add an extra Deep Analysis. No spell pierces. But I like this a lot. Force Spike has been doing some work against me in the league. I've been in the leagues a lot the last week or so.
I think
Force Spike's been doing
the
work.
reason for that is, one, people don't respect it.
Yes.
They will now.
Yeah.
They have to now.
You have to now.
So, if nobody respects it, then Force Spike is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with like a Mana Tithe. Like you get got by Mana Tithe, it's a feeling. Same thing. Now people are going to get by Force Spike for like a couple weeks until people start playing around it. Because like there's nothing punishing you from like just playing your spells on curve.
Play
Like,
around
there's
Force Spike, play around days. The overlaps. They continue.
They do continue. There's like nothing punishing you for just playing your spells on curve.
Mm-hmm.
This does.
I think this is also a really, really great adaptation for the Terror deck in particular to change the dynamic of your turn 1 plans, because you're just island go.
Yep.
Unless you're casting Ponder, it's just island go, and it could be Force Spike, it could be Brainstorm, it could be Thought Scour or Mental Note, it could be Cycling Lorien revealed. Post board, it could be Dispel, Annul, Hydroblast. It gives you it removes the like, oh, I'm just gonna stick a Delver and hope it lands, because also Delver's just dying a lot nowadays too, between Lava Dart.
Yeah, Lava Dart
and-
being super
yeah.
prevalent
I mean
in the
it's
Madness.
mostly just Lava Dart being, but like Gut Shots are running around all over the place because the like decks need to be able to have an answer to Krark-Clan Shaman or Crypt Rats in response to Toxin Analysis, or Spell Stutter Sprite. Gut Shot's really good against that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Delver, it's still good if you can set it and get it to go and start getting in for tempo damage. It's still really good. However, I do kind of like this approach, and it frees up a little bit of sideboard space. They're playing a couple copies of Nullify, which is blue instant.
Love this one.
Sick card.
Yeah, it counters a creature or aura spell, which is very
Actually pretty relevant now.
yeah, very relevant.
There's been some running around on the mono white heroic deck on
Yeah,
the
this mono white heroic deck. I also wanted to talk about this. This deck has been absolutely crushing. Wolf 777 has jumped to the top. I think the season on Magic Online resets tomorrow with the release of the avatar cards on online clients, and so Wolf 777 alongside Kalikai's and Barf were kind of all in the like 18-19 trophy range over the last week or so, just kind of like bubbling around each other for that top spot. But all of a sudden in the last like 2 days, Wolf 777 has just gotten like 4 trophies out of nowhere with mono white heroic over the last like few days. Really, really, really cool stuff.
That was my first deck on Moto because it cost like $5.
Yeah, it cost $18 in paper.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cheap. But it's been, I think a really cool adaptation there is playing the Sandstone Bridge alongside, which is a tapped white land that ETBs to give your creature +1/+1 and vigilance until end of turn.
Correct.
And combining that with other vigilance effects and the 1-mana aura from Ikoria, Solid Footing, it gives +1/+1, but if the creature has vigilance, it can assign damage with its toughness, and you're playing the Armadillo, Laguna Band, Trailblazer, these 0/4s that just stack up. And also, it's just so smart because when the blue deck, I could go off on this forever. When the blue deck and the red deck are the best things to be doing, it's really, really hard for the blue deck to keep up with this many, like Terror in particular, to keep up with a couple resolved threats, and just you can only counterspell so many auras. And then red can never kill these things because they're 0/4s.
Well, actually, so there's this is a twofold problem because the sideboard is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, the sideboard is
for
really
this.
Cool.
Sorry, we're gonna go off on a mono white tangent here in the middle of this topic.
Yeah, that's okay. No, we discussed the diversity of the top 8 in the new
Delver
Terror
cut.
deck.
This is sicker.
We talked about that enough. Let's talk about this.
So another card sitting in my cart that I'm gonna get when I can is the beautiful thing about this mono white sideboard is it plays 2 different enchantments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also need to pick these up.
One is Mask of Law and Grace, and the other is Shield of Duty and Reason. So the Mask and Grace gives your creature protection from black and red. The other one gives it protection from blue and green. So all your creatures are just unblockable.
Yeah.
Every single one of your creatures is just unblockable.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Nice terror deck, idiot. Here's my what is it? What is the thing? Shield of Duty and Reason.
Yeah.
Nice terror deck, idiot. Like nice job blocking.
It's unblockable when Devin casts a Writhing Chrysalis. Because it's red and green. Right? It's red and green. Right?
Yeah, right? That's how that works,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And even if none of that works, you also have the Death Blade Elite, which is Provoke. So for those who don't know what Provoke does, you can basically assign a creature to block it.
Yeah. So it's just a creature that when it attacks, it's basically a removal spell.
Correct.
Every time it attacks.
Yes.
Really, really cool. This deck is very, very cool. Just very cheap and efficient. It's all 1-mana spells outside of the two of the 2-mana creatures, and then there's this card. I thought it was really, really cool. I've been looking through Commander Masters cards, like these supplemental commons that have been reshaping the format. This is one that I think has gone under the radar for a bit. Benevolent Blessing.
Oh, you want to ask Anna Patterson how she feels about that card?
This thing is nutso.
So when we played the Dune Cube a couple weeks ago, I played a green-white deck instead of Boros. I guess this has been the number one deck to play.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this particular commander is that it can copy auras that you own. So I was just stacking Benevolent Blessings on my creature and giving
that board state looked horrendous.
Oh, and I had it all under control, BB. Don't you worry.
Yeah, this thing, it's 1 and a white for an enchantment aura with flash, and when it enters, you choose a color. An enchanted creature has protection from the chosen color, and if you choose white, or for example, this effect doesn't remove aura and equipment you control that are already attached to it. So you can give your creature protection from white, and it will keep all of these white auras on it through the Benevolent Blessings effect, which is
still very sweet.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, it's a very sweet deck.
Yeah, this deck is very, very cool.
Yes, obviously you can't let some things go by in this top 8 either. The fact that Poison Storm got that far is insane.
it's pretty cool.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
There's a couple interesting cards in the Jeskai.
I'd be interested in seeing what the Poison Storm players' matchups were.
I would also be interested. What was the card? There was a white card in the Jeskai deck that I was like, ooh, Angel Song. That card.
I don't know what this card is.
You'll probably forget it about as soon as I tell you. 1 and a white for an instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. It has cycling for 2.
Oh. So it's a fog with cycling.
Yeah, that you could just pick up later.
Cool.
Because you're still in Archaeomancer deck, so you just pick it up later.
Yeah. That's
You just
kinda
have
cool.
you have a fog loop in your deck now.
Yeah.
You didn't have it before. You
Yeah.
didn't play it before.
Okay.
I guess this person was like, hey, I would like a fog loop. Most people would just play the like Stonehorn lock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this actually just being an actual card that you can put the bin
Yeah.
when it doesn't
cheap.
matter is nice.
Much cheaper. Just draws a card.
Replacing itself is really cool.
Yeah.
In the main too. With the Stonehorn Dignitary is in the board here as well.
Yeah, if you want, but and also this is another interesting card in the sideboard is their singular copy of God Pharaoh's Faithful. I mean, if you need to beat the red decks, you can beat the red decks, I guess. They also played a Cop Blue with 1 blue Elemental Blast, 2 Hydro Blast. As far as their red hate was concerned,
Very, very cool.
very sweet.
Yeah, this top 8 is very cool. We've got a couple tempo decks with Blue Black Fae and Mono Blue Terror taking the win. We've got a combo deck with Spy combo, and I guess Poison Storm also being a combo deck. Yeah, so we've got 2 combo decks here. We've got like 2 mid-range control decks with John Wildfire and Jeskai Ephemerate, and then we've got 2 red aggressive decks with Rakdos Madness and Mono Red Madness.
And Fae. I think so you've got the Fae deck too.
Yeah, I called that out at the start. No, you're good. You're good. Like 2 tempo decks, 2 aggro decks, 2 combo decks, 2 mid-range control decks. Like that's awesome.
That's a perfect place for
Look at that.
Healthy metagame.
Yeah, really healthy place.
Beautiful.
Yeah, love to see it. Do y'all have anything else to add before we sign off here?
I guess.
This should actually tell you that you still need to pack your duresses in your last rites, people.
Yes. There are still combo decks.
There are still
out there.
combo decks, and they will still beat you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I guess I'll end off on thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks
dude.
for
It's been
being
a long
here.
time coming.
Hell yeah.
It's been a blast.
yeah,
my
Thanks
name's
for coming
Carson
on to talk
Bispels.
about Legacy.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at Carson_Bis. You can find me on Twitter at CarChump. I don't really tweet on there, but I lurk.
You're in the Common Ground Discord.
I'm in the Common Ground
Your
Discord.
socials will be pinned down below.
Yeah, you know all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
people.
But that was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you for joining us, Carson.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave those for us at commongroundmtgpod@gmail.com. Or if you have some things you want to tell us and you want us to make sure we see them, you can come into our Discord. The links will be below. Also, those stars, they never go away.
Put those
I
stars
need
in
all
my
5 of
hand.
them stars in my hand, little man. And I think that's everything.
I think that is. Yeah.
But you can also find me at your mom's house.
Oh.
Cut
She's
that
about
out.
she's about 5 minutes away if you want to go over there.
You're telling me I can see Mama Hippo right now?
You can certainly go see Mama Hippo right now if you want to.
Dude, I'm sweating.
She'll make you a good plate of food someday.
I was about to say, yeah, she'll cook you a good dinner.
She will.
if you really
She will
want to.
absolutely.
Hell yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
That's the joke I've heard that podcasts, there are 2 categories of podcasts, NPR or Joe Rogan. And unfortunately, we are Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we sure are.